do this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the People's Mirror and good morning. Now, in this episode, we want to put before the mirror two stories. First being Gachagua's move to Sifuna and Babu to join the DCP party, now rattling inside members of the DCP party who are also hopefuls of the Nairobi top 3 seats. That now, if Sifuna and Babu were to step into that scene, would not go to the current members who are hopeful and who have been loyal to the DCP party for quite some time. And then after that, we are also going to take a look at now the revealing story on what happened, why now the ODM leadership boycotted the Ruto's State House meeting when Ruto called the newly elected members of parliament to State House, and the only person that showed up was Senator Oburu Odinga. But before we put these two statements of politics that have immense effect of the 2027 outplay, if you're joining our channel for the first time, please hit the subscribe button so that we can hit the 1,000 mark. We are around 940 subscribers, so your help in subscribing to the channel is something that we really do appreciate. Now let's get into it. Around a day ago, Rigathi Gachagua now openly invited both Senator of Nairobi County right now, Honorable Edwin Sifuna, and the current Member of Parliament of Embakasi East, Babu Owino, to jump ship and join the DCP party. Now, this invite was coming shortly after Mr. Gachagua himself categorically said that the DCP party intended to zone Nairobi in the forthcoming elections of 2027. And by zoning Nairobi, it actually meant that the DCP party wanted to front candidates in both the gubernatorial seat, in the Senate seat, and in the women rep seat. Additionally, out of the constituency seats and also the MCA positions in Nairobi, the DCP party intended to become the dominant party in those positions, now zoning Nairobi as a DCP party area to the United Opposition Arrangement. Now, when those statements were made, whereas other members were saying they should not be mocked, including the governor of Trans Nzoia County, Honorable Natembeya, it received jitters from across borders, and we have detailed here at the People's Mirror sufficiently. Now, there is a likelihood that these statements were actually well thought, because now, if you look at the outplay of how the Kenyan politics is doing right now, and specifically the Nairobi politics, something is certain, that when it comes to the gubernatorial seat of Nairobi, Babu Owino right now has an upper hand in that particular region. And also, if you look at the senatorial seat of Nairobi, Edwin Sifuna is still having a very upper hand in that particular area. And so DCP wooing them, or Rigathi Gachagua wooing them to join the DCP side, is something that should not be taken lightly, because if they were to agree and join the DCP party, then most likely the zoning of Nairobi, which is the dream of Rigathi Gachagua, can come true. Now let's delve into this particular analysis and see whether or not Babu Owino and Edwin Sifuna will agree to the invite that has now been extended. Now, Rigathi has taken a new tactic after the by-elections came to an end. Prior to the by-elections, Rigathi was doing the consolidation of the mountain, and he was unifying the entire region to come behind the DCP and the United Opposition in the areas where the United Opposition were fronting candidates. But now you can see that post this particular by-elections coming to an end, rather, Rigathi Gachagua has taken a different tactic, and it's the tactic of rattling the camps. He's not building camps anymore right now. Right now is destroying existing camps. And the first statement that he made about zoning Nairobi, you saw how that rattled the other parties and rattled the United Opposition. Now, wooing Sifuna and Babu into this particular coalition is also rattling the camps very much, and this seems as his new political strategy moving forward. Instead of sitting to consolidate support to build one camp, he's saying that he is now looking at it that the best way to actually position himself ahead of 2027 is to rattle the unity in the existing camp, and if possible even change the status quo in favor of the DCP party. Now, less than a week ago, the zoning Nairobi party was the biggest talk in town. Now he has openly invited Sifuna and Babu, and he has praised Edwin Sifuna while inviting him. he has said Sifuna is actually a very good senator of Nairobi, and as a good senator there is no need to face the DCP party in 2027 and lose, and so he is inviting Sifuna to jump ship and join the DCP party ahead of the 2027 senatorial race. At the same time, he's saying that while the broad-based arrangement was being made between the ODM party and the UDA party, they downplayed the influence of a gentleman called Babu Owino, and so Babu is trying to fight within the party to even secure a position for himself with the party ticket in 2027. Now, he has also extended his hand to Babu, saying that if the ODM party does not feel like home anymore for Babu Owino, then there is space for Babu Owino in the DCP party. Now, another thing that is very interesting with this invitation is this. You see, these calls are coming amidst a time when these two individuals and these two firebrands within the ODM party are actually being shaken left, right, and center, and they're fidgeting in their seats within the ODM party. If you take a look at someone like Honorable Sifuna, Honorable Sifuna is now trying to sustain a ship where one part of the passengers feel like they want to go the Ruto way, and another part of the passengers in the ship feel like 2027 is a ripe moment for the ODM party. And the person that is balancing the voice of these two cohorts within the ODM party right now is Edwin Sifuna, while his own seat in this ship is not so certain, because if the members that want to go the Ruto way succeeds within this ship, then nothing becomes of Sifuna. And so if they decide to go 2027 with the other part of the passengers within this ship who want to do it in 2027, then they fail, then there is also nothing that will come worthwhile out of Sifuna. And so he's in a very shaky position. As an individual, is a firebrand, and within his position as the ODM Secretary General is a firebrand, but his political future within the party is shaky. And so Rigathi Gachagua is opening a platform for Sifuna, telling him that if this is the situation that we are going through within the ODM party, you can come to the DCP party and secure the senatorial seat of Nairobi without being in that shaky position. Of course, this is coming after the considering the fact that the voting pattern of Nairobi is Kikuyu, Luya, Luo, Kamba. And so where Kalonzo and Rigathi Gachagua agrees to front Sifuna, who is a Luya in Nairobi, most certainly with the support of the Luos that rally behind the ODM party, Sifuna will still divide his support between the Luos who will be loyal to him and the Luos that he will leave within the ODM party. So his seat as the senator of Nairobi will be more certain if he jumps camps to join the Rigathi Gachagua camp. Now, it's also important to note this is a possible thing that can occur. Sifuna might be currently the Secretary General of DM, but he's not cast on stone in that party. And sometimes back himself was quoted saying that he is ready to work with anyone was the word, as long as the goal is to remove Ruto come 2027. And so anyone does not exclude Rigathi Gachagua. If this offer seems so good that it secures for Sifuna a position in this particular region of Nairobi in 2027, and it also delivers for Sifuna the ultimate goal of removing Ruto in 2027, then why would Sifuna not jump ship? Now, the other individual that is also tagged in this invite is Babu Owino. Babu Owino is trying to look at the position of Nairobi, and later on when we do a cover up on the gubernatorial seat of Nairobi contest, we will detail how that particular position is so difficult within the ODM party right now, because Babu Owino is looking for Nairobi while Sakaja is within the broad-based government looking for Nairobi. Then there is a Ladwa from the ODM party that is going for Nairobi, and there are other people that will be fronting their interest for Nairobi. So Babu without the full support of ODM party, where Alado is being fronted, and Babu without the full support of now the colleagues or members that are within the party, who will be divided over supporting Sakaja or supporting Aladwa within the broad-based arrangement, will be facing a lot of challenges in 2027 than if he was going as a party candidate for the ODM party just against Johnson Sakaja. And so this difficulty is something that Babu needs to reevaluate, and I know very well is reevaluating, looking into the gubernatorial seat of 2027. And one possible reevaluation is something we witnessed in the past, the possibility of Babu going under a Wiper ticket. And Kalonzo Musyoka said he was more than willing to give Babu the second position, being the deputy party leader of Wiper Democratic Party, but that would have the effect of Babu losing the Embakasi East seat and going for a by-election. But even then, Honorable Kalonzo was certain that if a by-election was to be called in Embakasi East for Babu Owino, and Babu was to go with a Wiper ticket, then they would face it and still secure the same parliamentary seat that Babu is serving in Embakasi East. But to evade these political mishaps that exist now just less than 18 months to the next general election, there is a likelihood to extend these talks beyond now into 2027, so that this interest and arrangement of Babu Wiper exists in 2027. And so if Wiper and DCP party was to get into an arrangement of securing Nairobi with one party downplaying the interest of the other, then Babu would have the ticket of Nairobi under Wiper party, considering that Rigathi Gachagua has since changed his statement that he does not want to zone the Nairobi area for DCP. He wants to zone the Nairobi area for the opposition. And so Babu, who has also been quoted defending Kalonzo, saying previously when Kalonzo was in Azimio, he was a good man. Now if Kalonzo is in the united opposition, Kalonzo is a bad man. Then what has Kalonzo done? It means that Babu is warming himself towards the reception of the Wiper party with Kalonzo if Aladwa decides to go with the ODM ticket and the ODM officials gives the party ticket to Aladwa instead of Babu. Now this conversation of Babu come join DCP is part of the united opposition umbrella. Babu can come directly and take the off of Rigathi Gachagua and waver on the support of Gachagua to get the Kikuyu votes of Nairobi. Babu can come and go with the party ticket of Honorable Kalonzo and waver on the support of Kalonzo to get Kamba votes of Nairobi, support that with the Luo votes of Nairobi, and the individual supporters of Babu who are tribeless in that particular voting pattern, who will vote for Babu irrespective of whatever part of Kenyan corner they come from, and still secure the position of Nairobi. So this offer is in the open for the two firebrands within the ODM party, who are actually the resonating factors with the youth in the ODM party. If they leave that particular party, then the youth who will support the ODM party will surely dwindle, because the voice of the youths in the ODM party has long been Sifuna and Babu Owino. While that party is now making them fidget, the new party in town that wants to zone Nairobi ahead of the 2027 elections is now offering a bigger space and an open platform for them to tap into and use the support that already exists in that camp and the supports that can be generated by the party leaders of that camp, and secure their positions in Nairobi while securing the dream of the party leader of DCP of delivering the gubernatorial, the senatorial, and the women rep position of Nairobi to the united opposition, and specifically to the DCP party. So a day in politics is like a year, and between now and 2027 anything can happen, including the shifting of ship by both Babu Owino and Edwin Sifuna, and it is very possible. Very possible, because if you trace just a while ago the relationship between these individuals, that is Babu, Kalonzo, and also the relationship between Sifuna and anyone who wants to host Ruto, they have made statements that are showing that they are willing to partner with anyone in 2027 to deliver a win against President Ruto. Another important factor to just reiterate is the fact that these two individuals are also the part and parcel team of the Kenya Moja team that was formed sometimes back by certain members of parliament and members of the Senate who wanted to be middle power brokers in the 2027 game. And the major aim of the Kenya Moja alliance was that when they come together, they wanted to hear the ground so clearly, because the top figures have historically been distant from the actual people. And the main goal of this particular alliance was that come 2027, they would know who they would want to rally behind. Now, it's most likely that the intention of the alliance they formed is aligning with the invitation that they are receiving from the DCP party, and the two firebrands now just have to sit down and weigh their options between now and 2027, whether they are going to go with their respective parties where they serve right now, or they are going to jump ship and join the united opposition, secure their positions, and discard the ODM party. Now, these conversations are coming shortly after Rigathi Gachagua said that President Ruto is actually in a move to weaken the ODM party and discredit it, leaving it irrelevant ahead of the 2027 major polls. And so it's revealed that in just less than 3 days, on Tuesday, when President Ruto was meeting the elected members of parliament for this particular by-election results, there was a boycott by certain officers of the ODM party. In this second part of the episode of the People's Mirror, we want to put those particular statements and revelations before the mirror for you to decide. Now, just a day after two factions met, that is both the factions of the UDA and the factions of the ODM, with Agnes Zani to review the report that is yet to come in a day's time. The next report of how the COIN 10 is doing, the joint agenda on implementation of the 10-point agenda between the UDA and the ODM, which is the substance of the broad-based arrangement. The full report for the third time is supposed to be released tomorrow. It's also a day after Rigathi Gachagua declared that President Ruto is using the ODM party and is intending to weaken it because ahead of 2027 he wants to declare this particular party irrelevant. Now, after all that has happened, it's coming to clarity that on Tuesday there was a meeting that was being held by ODM officials, and you remember among them there was you remember when the particular meeting was happening in State House, the only person that arrived there alongside the elected candidates was Oburu Odinga. But prior to Oburu Odinga going to the State House, there was a meeting that was held, and the meeting had Mr. Sifuna, it had Mr. Nasir, it had Mr. Simbarati. Mr. Oburu himself was in this meeting, and other officials of the ODM party. Now, they agreed and they met the elected members who had been elected under ODM party, that is Boyd Were of Kasipul, Moses Omondi of Ugunja, and Harrison Kombe of Magarini. And they talked to these individuals. But when it came to now attending the lunch invite that was, organized by President Ruto in the Senate, then they boycotted. Not in the Senate, pardon me, in the State House. Then they boycotted. They did not show up. And so there was a lot of readings into their absence. Now, a party official of the ODM party has finally revealed that the party leaders intended not to attend that particular ceremony at all, including Mr. Oburu Odinga, because they felt that President Ruto's team in State House contacted the elected MPs directly without going through the party channels. So the State House team communicated to Boyd Were, to Moses Omondi, and to Harrison Kombe directly, inviting them for a luncheon in State House without going through the party channel. And so the party felt dissatisfied by that decision, feeling that it disrupted the party channels, and it also did not put into consideration the tensions in the ODM party right now and the structures of leaderships that exist internally. So as a result, they saw that this was something that was being done deliberately to outplay the leaderships of the ODM party right now, that Raila Odinga is no more, because the party leaders felt that if Raila Odinga had been present, then the State House would have not sent direct message to the MPs elect. It would have gone through the party leader. And so as a result, they boycotted. They did not show up. And so Mr. Boyd Were, Mr. Moses Omondi, and Mr. Harrison Kombe just went with the party leader Oburu Odinga later on as a show of honor. And even Mr. Oburu Odinga, sources tell us, did not intend to show up to that meeting after that had happened. So it's only after the MPs had flagged the issue of invitation being done directly to the elected members that the State House made now an invite to now not the members directly, but to the ODM party. And as a result now, the Senator Mr. Oburu Oginga found himself in those premises as the only candidate from the ODM leadership that was escorting the members elect to the presidential luncheon. Other than that, if you took a look at how the UDA party, which is also part of the broad-based arrangement, arrived with their members of parliament elect, then you would say that there was a big discrepancy. For the UDA party, there was Cecilia Mbarire there, the chairperson of the party. There was the Secretary General of the party, Omar Hassan there. There was Japheth Nyakundi, who is the treasurer of the party there. There was the majority leader of the National Assembly, Kimani Ichunga there. And all these people were formed the delegation that handed over the members elect for Mbeere North, the members elect for Banisa, and the members elect for the other constituency where the UDA party had secured a win, that is Malava. So some officials of the party now say that the leaders had recommended a total boycott, and it's only when these members of parliament flagged the issue and the State House sent an invite to the ODM party directly that Oburu Odinga showed up. But each of the members have directly downplayed it. You see, for example, Mr. Osotsi, the deputy party leader, when asked why he did not show up in this particular conference, has downplayed it, saying that he could not show up in that conference because he had serious matters to attend to within the Senate. Now, it's very laughable because Mr. Oburu Odinga, who showed up alongside these 3 elected members, also sits in that very Senate. And so it's only questionable what issue was so important within the Senate that just needed the attention of Mr. Osotsi, to the exclusion of the party leader, Mr. Oburu, who showed up to accompany those candidates. Of course, these are just cover-up statements from the leaders who felt like the party structures and the tensions within the ODM were not respected but when the State House made that direct call, and so they did not willingly want to go there. It's a matter of saving face, while really the broad-based arrangement is suffering internal disarrangements between now and 2027, and we might see these things getting more louder like we have seen right now. The governor of Mombasa, however, has asked Kenyans not to read much into it, saying himself he did not show up because he was invited, but he had prior arrangements that he had made prior to that luncheon. And so he says that members of the ODM party leadership did not show up because of unavailability based on previous arrangements that had nothing to do with that luncheon, and members of the public should now not read so much into it. It's also noticeable that the party chairperson, Honorable Gladys Wanga, who actually took a very huge part in delivering the win of Boydwere in Kasipul, also did not attend the swearing in of Honorable Boydwere, and also did not go to State House to escort the rest of the members of the ODM party that had been elected. So this is just coming days after Rigathi, of course, revealed that there is a move to discredit the leadership of the party, and there are certain individuals that had sold the party to the president, and this move to discredit the party, according to Mr. Rigathi Gachagua, intends to systematically weaken the party between now and 2027, so that by the time the 2027 clocks hits, the party is rendered useless and irrelevant to be contested or even to be considered in top key positions in their coalition. And so when this particular boycott happened and only Oburu showed up, it actually echoes on these statements that perhaps the destruction has begun. And between now and 2027, here the People's Mirror, we will keep our mirrors fixed in this particular relationship to unearth any downplay or any foul play that can hint that the ODM party is being destroyed and being rendered irrelevant ahead of the major polls in 2027. It's been a pleasure recapping for you that. Until our next episode.